It is wild how obsessed the right wing is over Hunter Biden nudes on his laptop and him buying a gun while being a drug user. Like, whoop-de-doo.
Hunter Biden's lawyers are telling Congress right now that their client is willing to testify publicly in front of the House Oversight Committee. That committee subpoenaed him earlier this month as part of the impeachment inquiry into the president. Hunter Biden's lawyers are demanding this testimony not be behind closed doors, citing Republicans' quote, partisan crusade. CBS News senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge has been covering every twist and turn of this story. Catherine, great to see you. Explain to us why Hunter Biden's team is pushing so hard for public testimony on the record.
Well, Errol, in this three-page letter that's been obtained by CBS News and other media outlets, his attorneys argue that they don't like the conditions of a closed-door interview, that they think it can be subject to selective leaks that distort the evidence that's presented in the interview. So they would rather have something very public where he can directly answer their questions. But the question or the problem with that argument is that throughout this process, it's really been done in two steps by the Republicans. We saw this with the IRS whistleblowers in this case. They did closed-door transcribed interviews, and then it was followed by public testimony.
So how then are Republicans on the Oversight Committee specifically reacting to this position and this offer?
Well,
I wonder if there's going to be some Republicans flashing around Hunter Biden's nudes like Marjorie Taylor Greene did.
The Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Chairman Comer, issued a statement saying that we're accusing Hunter Biden of trying to play by his own rules, that the rules that he's got to abide by apply to everyone, which is when you receive a congressional subpoena, you then have to appear. And that was for a closed-door deposition on December.
That's funny that right-wingers are now claiming that if you get subpoenaed, you have to abide by that, while there have been many right-winger politicians that have been getting subpoenaed over stuff, and they don't want to abide by it.
December 13th, and the statement said then we can have public testimony at a later date, and that is the practice that has been followed in this investigation, as I just mentioned, with those IRS whistleblowers earlier this year.
And what we're talking about now is the impeachment inquiry into the president. So what does this development mean then for the investigation into the president's son?
That's a great question, because none of this is happening in a vacuum. House Republicans have said, based on bank records, that they found evidence that 20 shell companies were set up over a 5-year period, mostly when Joe Biden was vice president, and they allege that $24 million passed through those funds, through those accounts, to the benefit of Biden family members and their associates. And the reason—
Do they actually have proof of this, or are they just making up a bunch of BS?
And all of that matters is because of the special counsel investigation by David Weiss. Everyone is waiting for a decision by Weiss whether he will pursue tax charges against Hunter Biden, and the expectation is that, having the plea deal for misdemeanor charges collapse in the summer, that if they are brought, they would be felony charges and potentially violations of the foreign lobbying laws.